Good morning. I want to share with you a dream I had when I was writing my book on the sacred masculine. It was a very powerful and memorable dream. And the circumstances were interesting. I was invited by the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology to give a lecture on the divine feminine and the sacred masculine at their retreat, at a retreat center named Mount Madonna, up in the mountains near Santa Cruz, California. And I was to speak on in the morning, and I arrived at night and it was dark, and I was kind of stumbling around a lot of rocks and and mountainous terrain, if you will. And I found my room finally, and I went to bed. And I had this amazing dream. And in the dream, I was on a mountain, very rocky terrain, not unlike where I had found myself in the dark that night. And I was looking around the area, and I saw this caravan of cars coming and over the mountains. And as far as the eye could see, there was this caravan of cars. It was like a great wedding was taking place. And cars were driving by, and all of a sudden, this one car slowed down in front of me. It was a bride and the groom. And the bride and the groom were sitting in the back of a limousine together. And they were an elephant and a tiger, an elephant and a tiger. They were newlyweds. And I saw that the elephant was more or less embracing the tiger. And his tiger had his head out the window and was staring at me. It was beautiful and strong. And in the dream, I said, look how large the tiger's head is. Everything was shiny and sunny and happy. And I didn't know who was driving that limousine, who was in the front seat, but I presumed it was a human being. But I think it was a marvelous dream about the marriage of the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. Because for me, an elephant is very maternal. There's something very maternal about the elephant culture. And in fact, I know my mother back then was collecting elephant tiny elephant statues. Whenever I was on the road, I'd try to some foreign country, I'd try to bring one back to her and so forth. So the elephant to me definitely represented the maternal. And the tiger for me stands very much for this sacred masculine, that it's strong and it can be fierce, but it has its own beauty as well. It's a hunter. But of course they were getting along very well in the back of the car. So to me, the dream was a marvelous dream about the marriage of the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. And both are wonderful and both are powerful. And it was a celebration of the marriage of the two, of the sacred feminine. And in writing my book, I ended up with the last chapters were about the sacred marriage of the feminine and the masculine. But for that to really happen, the masculine has to get more authentic. It has to surrender some of the toxic masculine, the overdoing of the reptilian brain, winning at any price, and aggression and I win and you lose mentality that you get with the reptilian brain. And but it was so interesting that in the back seat, both animals, the maternal elephant, feminine, and the strong masculine tiger, both were themselves. Well, both were very fully themselves. And the fact that this dream happened right before I was to give a talk on the sacred masculine and divine feminine, and while I was in the process of writing my book on the sacred masculine, which culminates with the sacred marriages of the feminine and masculine, the yin and the yang, the father sky, the mother earth, the black Madonna and the green man, all that came up for me in completing the book. All this was really very deliciously put in this dream, because it was, the whole mood of it was beauty. And like I said, it was a long caravan. They had a lot of supporters, this elephant and tiger. A lot of people gathered to celebrate their union and their reunion. And I think that stands for what we need today, that there will be many supporters of our species, Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens. We may someday be wise humans again if we can bring together the wisdom of the feminine and the strength, the virtus, the excellence and power, healthy power of the masculine and the warrior, the mystic and the warrior. The elephant standing for the mystic, the tiger standing for the warrior and the prophet. Something to think about. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.